I took my TV off the wall, part 4, and I canceled all the subscription services, streaming services, and I canceled all the bootlegged services that I was borrowing passwords. Yeah, you know how you borrow people's username and passwords? They're like, hey, here's my Disney TV password and username. Go ahead and bootleg it. So I have no streaming services. This is going to be part 4. It's going to be my biggest fear, and that was how it would affect the relationship with one of my, prime relationships in my life, the relationship with my 20-year-old son, Waylon. So that's what this episode is going to be about. Trust me, it's juicy. There's emotions, there's twists and turns, there's like a big surprise awareness that I kind of knew was percolating. There is definitely some, I'm not sure if I'm going to talk about it on this episode, but I'll get to it on one of the episodes, is the, kicking streaming, like kicking a habit. It can be painful. Like there's repercussions, emotional, physical repercussions, It's like the DTs. You quit watching TV, and so you have the DTs. Anyway, listen in.
You know when someone is selling from stage, and at the end, the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
So it's super funny. I'm in recovery. I quit drinking and drugging decades ago when I was 17 years old. And 17 years and 9 months old, last day of high school, I got clean and sober and got involved in, 12-step recovery programs, and have been off the sauce, shall we say, for, decades now. It's been straight line sobriety for me, which is such a gift for me. And, part of that addictive personality I have, I've got to quit smoking, so I quit smoking in my 30s. I can get compulsive about anything, trust me. Quit smoking, quit gambling in 1995. Like, gambling had taken over, my thinking. I was obsessed on it. So I got to quit gambling. And, surfing. I was addicted to surfing, full on addicted to surfing. So I will surf now and then, but I don't do it compulsively. If someone's like, hey, let's go surfing, I'll go. Or now and then I'll be inspired to, a swell will come and I'll be like, yeah, I'll surf. I'll do a little 3-week, catch some waves, call it good, get my fill, enjoy the ocean. But I find that I'm able to enjoy the ocean just by walking on the beach or body surfing. Body surfing is so much fun. Body surfing is actually my favorite. Just a pair of swim trunks in the summer, or a wetsuit in the winter, and just jumping in and playing in the waves just brings me back to that kid state of mind so fast. The TV, right? Obviously, we're talking about TV, about me taking the TV off the wall. And in high school, in my younger years, single dad, or my father was a single dad. I basically grew up with my father as the single dad. He raised me. And latchkey kid, the latchkey 70s and 80s, wild Wyoming, so lots of playing outside, but definitely lots of Gilligan's Island and then the 80s video games, the 70s and 80s video games, Pong and Donkey Kong and all that. But just, basically when I got clean and sober, the video games definitely went away. I grew out of that super quick. Any of you video gamers out there that love video games, God bless you. Like, if that's your release, amen. I'd stopped watching TV. I went through a chunk of my life having no TV. And of course, now the TV's down again. This was all about DTs, Delirium Tremens. So, what else? Oh yeah, the stock market. The stock market sneakily, for me, is like gambling. So, I don't do the stock market either because it can take over the mind, right? Like, even if I'm not trading every day, I'm watching the market every day, and where am I, and how's it going, and I hope the market goes up, and if it goes down, and la 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 la. So I've quit the stock market a few years ago, and I'm free. And by the way, I went to college to get a finance degree and was for a while being groomed to be a stockbroker. Anyway. Okay, let's get to it. Fears about Waylon. I'll be there shortly. My biggest fear about Waylon. I'll get there. I'm sorry, I went on a total tangent, but so anyway, the delirium tremens, the DTs. My point is when you kick a habit, there can be emotional and mental pain, right? The brain is like, I want to do it. And then you can have literal physical ramifications. Like when people quit drinking or smoking or drugging, or people, a lot of people are addicted to pills these days. Like there's benzodiazepines, there's all sorts of painkillers, antidepressants, anti-anxiety, like a lot of this stuff. Supposedly a lot of it's not addictive. I would call BS on that. Oh, what's the big wave now, of course, is microdosing plant-based medicine, as long as you have the proper guide. Oh my God, what a can of worms that is. And I'll just say this too. Like, I know it is helping people. It's definitely helping people with PTSD, so God bless, right? For me though, like, I abused psychedelics in my youth. I abused mushrooms. I abused LSD. Like anything, any psychedelics I could get my hands on, I was abusing it to the point of, like jails, institutions, and death. And I don't say that lightly. And so kicking a habit can have emotional ramifications, short-term emotional ramifications. Like you will feel emotions you've been hiding, or your body and brain will want to do that habit so bad. It's like 1 day at a time, don't do it. 1 minute at a time, don't do it. 30 seconds at a time, just don't do it. I've quit so much stuff. Oh my gosh. And usually you hit bottom with it, right? Anyway, this is a total tangent. I didn't mean to go down, but you get what I'm talking about. You might be a normie out there, and you might be like, oh my gosh, I have a cigarette now and then. It's no big deal. I have a drink now and then. Total social drinker. I do some social crack use. It's all good. I take some anti-anxiety medicines now and then. It's all good. God bless you. Or surfing. Oh, you don't understand. Surfing is the most important thing to me. It's how I find balance, to the detriment of relationships. I've seen people get divorced because of surfing. I was perhaps one of them. Actually, I have a better name for this episode. Let's say part 4 is about how hard it is to break a bad habit. Like, it can be hard to break a bad habit, and there are ramifications. I'll get to my fear with Waylon next. The gym. Yeah, there was the gym. Compulsively going to the gym. as well. There was that stage. It's all normal stuff that people do. But when that stuff it takes over your life, this is what happened to me in the gym in my 30s, my late 20s and early 30s, mid to late 20s. Yeah, it was like 25 to 32 or something like that. I had been going to the gym actually for a long time, but it became obsessive compulsive in a destructive way as I was rocketing to my 30s, and basically kind of went like this. Eat X amount of calories a day, eat 6 meals. That was the big thing back then in the 90s, whenever that was like eat 6 meals, and so I wouldn't do things based on my eating calendar and my shake intake, my protein shake intake. Meaning somebody would be like, hey, let's go do something fun. And I'd be like, oh no, I need to eat then. Or, oh no, just all this stuff around it. Oh no, that'll mess with my workout schedule. And it just, it dominates my life. And finally I was like, this is insane. And stopped. Oh my God, this is so funny. Where do I want to go with this? We're at coming on 12 minutes, and let's just say that I've quit many things over my life, and I'm happier and freer than I've ever been. And oftentimes when we quit something, now that I'm talking about it here, usually a group of friends will go by the wayside. So when I stopped surfing all the time, my surfing buddies were like, hey, that common bond, right, was gone. And so, I don't have that circle of friends anymore. When I quit drinking in my youth, drinking and drugging, right? Generally speaking, all those friends went away. So it can be hard. There can be friend ramifications. There can be, emotional ramifications. For sure, people now, as I've started talking about, TV's gone, they're looking at me a little bit weird. Like, what do you mean? No streaming, no TV. Like, nothing crazy. I don't think I'm going to lose friends over it, per se. But some people are looking at me a little sideways. And I can't wait to find the people that are like, yes, I don't have a TV either. I don't have any streaming services either. And I know there's a whole army of you out there. So thank you for embracing my drama around that. But I would challenge anybody listening, like, what habits that do you have that are not serving you right now, that perhaps it would serve you to break that habit and to open up something new. And I'll tell you how you can tell if something's a habit. This is the one question that I think is how we tell if something is a habit and that is becoming unhealthy. And that is, can you imagine your life without it? Can you imagine your life without it? Now let's just tackle the extremes around that right away. Of course, you're like, well, what about food? What about water? What about shelter? Of course, some dumbass is going to go straight to that and be like, yeah, okay, you win. You're right. There are no bad habits out there. Because we could say, well, I can't live without food. And actually, now that I've said that, I could challenge you. Perhaps you're unhealthily attached to life, to the idea that human life is the most important thing in the universe, and you have a fear of death, and that fear of death is perhaps an unhealthy thing in your life. Anyway, back to the question. What would my life be without it? Can I imagine life without it? That's the key question. Can I imagine my life without this? And if I can't, and I'm like, no, this is a vital part of my life. It's like food to me. It's like drink. It's like water to me. Then I would challenge you that perhaps you have a compulsion with it, and you might need to learn how to live without it. And so I had come to that with streaming and TV. I couldn't imagine life without it. And so it's like, all right, that means let's do it. Let's embrace life without it. Same thing with the social media. Life without social media. Business without social media. Can it be done? More will be revealed. Anyway, there's some thoughts for you. Next episode, fear, biggest fear, Waylon. Everybody have a good day. What in your life do you think that you can't live without? That maybe you should give it a go and live without it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.